Hello, everyone. I'm sitting here. I don't know if you can see it, but working on the editing of my story, my book, The Ecstasy and the Ignominy. It's the first day of editing, of heavy editing, really. And so far, things aren't really going well because I sat down around 3 p.m. and I thought, okay, this is going to take what? I thought, I'm going to edit at least, 3 to 5 chapters. And I thought, okay, this is going to take maybe a couple of hours, maybe three at the most. That's what I thought. But I ran into just a lot of problems when I started editing. And chapter one had already been through a rough edit, but I did that a few months ago. But I just noticed that, and these are things that, unless you're really paying attention, the average casual reader probably wouldn't even notice. But I notice. And so, because there are things where sometimes if a word is repeated too many times, sometimes that bugs me, and then I'll try to change the word. And then, or sometimes there were in some of the dialogue in the first chapter, there were things where the some of the characters seemingly contradicted themselves. So I changed some of that, and and then it was one of those things where every time I would change something, even a little thing like one word, I'd have to go back and read the entire chapter again to see how that affected the rest of the chapter, because sometimes by trying to fix one continuity error, you end up creating another. And so and that took me forever, and now it is nearly midnight. It's 11:24, and I'm only now working on chapter two. I'm working on chapter two for a couple hours, and I had some problems with chapter two though, because in chapter two there's a character makes a prophecy about a solar eclipse, but I decided the scene where I was going to use the solar eclipse, I didn't use it. I didn't write it as a solar eclipse scene, so I had to go back and get rid of that because it wouldn't make any sense, and I had to create then a new prophecy which would make sense. And so that took up a lot of time. That probably took up more time than anything, trying to come up with a new prophecy. And then there's a continuity error where this character in chapter two walks into a cave when it's getting dark, and then he walks out and the sun's coming up, and he didn't spend enough time in the cave for that to happen. That happens. Probably my most common continuity error is like day and night scenes changing drastically, or because I write these chapters over the course of days or weeks, so I often forget how much time has passed in the scene, and so that can present a problem. And then I fixed it where I still describe the night as waning, but which probably wasn't even enough time for the night to wane. But it's not, the sun isn't completely up yet. And so I've run into a lot of hurdles. I don't know if the other chapters will be like that, because I knew that I would have to rewrite this prophecy here, but I didn't anticipate changing so much in chapter one, um, especially since it had already been through a rough edit. And so yeah, and the reason why I'm trying to rush this now is because I want to have a rough a rough edit of the book completed before March, because in March I'm going to be getting a puppy, and I won't have a lot of time to do things once the puppy arrives, and he may even arrive a few days before. If he arrives a few days before, then the draft will not be ready. But I'm trying to work things out to where, and even if I do just 3 or 4 chapters a day, which I don't even know if I'll get to the third chapter today, I'll still be, right up against the clock trying to get it the rough edit completed. Uh, um, if I said rough draft, I'm not sure. It's not a rough draft, a rough edit for beta readers to consume, and then I can kind of leave the story alone for a while. But no, it's been very stressful though, because I've run into problems that I didn't think I was going to have to deal with, and especially because I wrote this over a long period of time, and therefore my writing style changes a lot throughout the book, I wrote it over a long period of time, so the style isn't consistent because it was a long I wrote it over a long period of time, and so I'm having to look for things like consistency, and I'm never going to get it exactly perfect, but I'm trying to fix some issues that that really bother me. And so yeah, I've had a rougher time with editing than I expected.